Hey guys, it's Miss R here. I'm going to be doing your video lesson this week instead of Miss Tellas, and today we're going to be looking at some special products of foiling. When it comes to squaring things, we are doing exactly the same thing that we would do when you square something, like square just like a number where you multiply the thing by itself. So that's exactly what I want to do here. So if I have an expression, I want to multiply it by that same expression. It'd be the same thing if I had 4 times 4. It's just a thing multiplied by itself. So let's get that out of the way. So if I FOIL this, remember it's first times first, a times a, that's a squared. And then it's outsides. So this is the outside and that's the outside. So then it's plus ab. And then insides, these two are the insides, plus another AB, and then the last two. So the B and the B. And then of course you can combine like terms. These two here in the center are my like terms. So this is 1AB, this is 2ABs, so I end up with 2AB as my middle term. And this sort of holds true for any sort of squares that you would do. If we're going to try this one next, and I'm going to use purple because I like purple. So the first thing you want to do whenever you're finding the square of something is make sure you write down both of your expressions that you're multiplying. Because this is a squared up here, but that means that there are two of them being multiplied together. So remember, foiling is first times first. So 4 times 4 is 16. And then y times y is y squared. There are two y's. And then outsides, 4 times 3, that's 12. Just y by itself. Same thing here. 4 times 3, 12y. And then the last ones. 3 times 3 is 9. And then you combine your like terms, and you get 16y squared plus 24y plus 9. And I think this is a pretty easy way to do square roots. You may end up seeing a pattern that helps you solve them in the future. But all you need to worry about right now is just foiling and writing down your two expressions, multiplying them together, and getting your correct answer. So x times x is x squared. And then we have 6x. We have 6x again. And then 6 times 6 is 36. Add the middle terms. And we get 12x plus 36. Yep. So this is how you would do squares. So just remember to write it down and then multiply normally. Keep foiling. All right. So now we have the square of a difference. So the one we had before, let me just go back. The one we had before had a plus sign right here. So that's a sweet plus sign. But this one has a minus sign. So it may end up being just a little bit different than how we did it before. So if I write down both of my expressions and FOIL it out, a times a squared, minus, well, BA is fine, minus BA, and then plus, because a negative times a negative is a positive, B squared. So we have a squared, and then if you combine these two middle terms, minus 2BA plus 2B. So the only difference between the square of a difference and the square of a sum is that the square of a sum has this middle term positive. The square of a difference has this middle term negative. So if we try to FOIL these two examples out, the first thing you do is you just write it down like you would be FOILing any normal sort of thing. First times first, 4y squared, and then outsides minus 8y, insides minus 8y, and then the lasts plus 16. So if this were positive, we would be getting plus 8y and plus 8y. But because it's negative, we have a negative term in the center. So if I combine like terms, oops, did I just say the opposite of that? If I combine like terms, this is what I get. And then I'll go through this one really fast. So the one thing I know is that this middle term is going to be negative, and then the last term is going to be positive. And if you want to do it a quicker way, you could see that a is going to be squared, and then it's going to be plus 2a plus b squared, or minus b squared, excuse me. Or, where's the eraser? There it is. Minus, that's what I wanted. So if x is a and 9 is b, you could also do it like this. Just an option, but if you feel more comfortable foiling it out, you should. So if x is a, the first thing we do is we do a squared. If 9 is b, then we have 2x because x is a, negative 9, or excuse me, positive 9, and then b is 9 squared. So you could do it like this. You could just say, okay, this is A, this is B. I'm going to stick it into this formula up here, which we found by foiling out our original up here. And then you could just multiply through. So you would get 18x plus 81. And I guarantee you, if I FOILed this out, I would get the same thing. So I'm going to do it over here real fast. So just write both of them down. First times first, x squared. Outsides, that's 9x. Insides, that's 9x. And lasts, that's plus 81. So, yep, if you look, you see that these two things are exactly the same. So if you want to use your your base formula to solve any type of squares, you can. I think it's really fun, but make sure if you feel more comfortable with the FOIL method, you should use it. All right, so let's keep going. So we have this last one, and then we're finished. So with the product of a sum or a difference, the main thing here is that your A's and B's are the same, except they have a negative and a positive. So instead of squaring it, like you would be multiplying the same thing, you're multiplying by the inverse of each thing. So if we FOIL this, first times first, a squared, positive AB, negative AB, and then positive b squared. So if you see in the middle here, this is a positive AB, this is a negative AB. So I know that those can cancel, and I'm just left with a squared plus b squared. So down here, if you want to do it the FOIL way, you can, but if you know that this is A and this is B, then you can just say, okay, well, 9d squared plus 4d, or plus 4 squared, is going to be my answer, like we found up here. So 81d squared plus 16 is probably my answer, but I'm going to FOIL it real fast just to see. So 81d squared. And then we have minus 3060 plus 3060 plus 16. So if you can see right here, these two things are the same. They cancel. You're just left with 81d squared plus 16. So like I said, if you feel more comfortable using the FOIL method, definitely use it, but just know that this is also an option. So I'm going to do one more and then two more actually, and I believe, oh no, that's the same thing. Well, I'm going to do this X one here. And then I believe that is it for this lesson. So if we FOILed it, we would get x squared and then plus 2 plus 2x minus 2x minus 4. Yeah, and I think, oh, I did mess up the first one. Oops. So it's actually minus b squared because this is a negative and that's a positive, so my bad. Let me go through and erase it. But just so you know, teachers can make mistakes. So minus, 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 minus. There we go. Okay, so these two middle terms cancel here, and you're just left with x squared minus 4. That's foiling it out. If I did it where I used x as a and 2 as b, I would just do this minus 2 squared. So I would end up getting x squared minus 4. And I happen to think that this is a little bit easier of a way to do it, but again, if you are more comfortable with the FOIL method, you should stick with it. Okay, so I guess we have an application problem here. Let me go through and read this. The figures below are squares. Find an expression for the area of each shaded region. Write your answer in standard form. Okay, and then we're going to find the area of the yellow part of the square only. All right, so if we did the yellow bit, so this is going to be my yellow bit, we know that because it's a square, it's the sides times the sides, right? Area is length times width, so area is length times width. We know that. So because this side is plus 5x, or x plus 5, excuse me, and this side is x plus 5, I just multiply them together. So you can FOIL it if you feel like it, or you can use the A and B method. I'm going to FOIL it just so you guys remember. So first times first, insides plus 5, and then plus 5 again, and then plus 25. So our area for the yellow region is x squared plus 10x plus 25. And then the area for the red region is going to be the same thing, except we are going to use the x minus 1 and x minus 1 as our sides for our area equals length times width. Okay, so x minus 1, x minus 1, x times x squared, minus x, or minus 1x, remember there's an invisible 1 here, and then same thing here, minus 1x, invisible 1, plus 1, and we get x squared minus 2x plus 1. Remember, I just added the 1 and the 1 to get the 2x here. All right, and then if we find the area of just the yellow square, not including the red square, what I would do is I would subtract this equation from this equation. So I don't have a lot of room, so I'm just going to do it down here. All right, so x squared plus 10x plus 25 minus, that's parentheses, And remember, you guys know that when we have a negative here, if we want to solve it, we distribute the negative to all the terms inside the parentheses. And then minus x squared plus 2x minus 1. So right away I see that this and this cancel, and then we end up getting 12x, right? So there's a 10x here, there's a 2x here. I'm just combining like terms, that's all I'm doing. This is a constant and that's a constant. So I know that I can add the 10x and the 2x together to get 12x, and then 25 minus 1, that gives you plus 24. So the area of the yellow shaded region is just 12x plus 24. Pretty cool, right? All right. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.